Welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard we back in the house. It's been a minute. All right, it's been a minute, guys. I haven't been on with y'all. Now, I was supposed to come on earlier in the week. All right, let's get this out the way. I was supposed to come here on earlier in the week for y'all to do the introductory press conference recap and all that and give you my thoughts. But then the Dolphins kept playing games. All right, so we find out on Sunday we got a new coach. I'm thinking Monday it's going to be a press conference. Monday, no press conference. I'm like, all right, got to be on Tuesday, right? You know that, I mean, it got to be on Tuesday. Actually, it wasn't on Sunday. It was on Monday. Sunday, we kind of had an idea. Monday, we knew for sure. I'm like, okay, Tuesday is going to be a press conference, no press conference. I'm like, all right, it got to be Wednesday, right? It got to be Wednesday. No press conference. So I'm like, yo. They put out a statement, oh, it's going to be Thursday morning. Well, Thursday night, I'm not available, so I couldn't do the video. Here we are on a Friday night. Some of you will be watching this on Saturday. I understand that because this video is coming out kind of late, but here we are. Okay, now I haven't put out any videos since February 1st, so you don't even know how I feel about the coach. I wanted to lump it all into one video. I didn't want to do multiple, so here we go. You're going to hear how I feel about the coach, the coaching hire, and we'll talk about the press conference and if my thoughts about him have changed since hearing about what he plans on doing and who he is. All right, this video will be a little bit longer than the usual, so please bear with me. We'll go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, so when it comes to our new head coach, Mike Mcdaniel, all right, and I'm going to make sure I keep the S out because I have a problem adding S's to the end of names like McDaniel, especially when I've heard Josh McDaniels for a very long time. All right. So now every McDaniel, I assume there's an S behind because I'm so used to Josh McDaniels. All right. So Mike McDaniel, I have to get used to without an S because it sounds better with an S. All right. All that aside, let's move on. When I first heard about our head coach being in the process, I didn't really care. All right, he didn't move the needle for me either way. I would rather have Dable. I'd rather have had Doug Peterson, Jim Caldwell, a number of other guys at the time when I first heard about him, because I'm like, he's this young, flashy, mad scientist genius. Where have we heard about that before? Adam Gase. You know, that's all my mind was going to. All right, so I don't want another one of these Adam Gase guys. All right, where they're supposed geniuses and then they come in and they're far from it. I didn't want that. I didn't want to deal with that. Didn't want nothing to do with that. Seeing the tree that he was from, that intrigued me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, because I like the Shanahan tree, and I'm a big fan of the Shanahan running system. It doesn't matter what running back you plug into that system, it works. All right, it's foolproof. Like, it doesn't fail, never failed, not once. You plug a running back into that system, he's going to produce. I love that. Love it. All right. So when it got narrowed down to three different people, being him, being Kellen Moore, and being Vance Joseph at the time, I was happy about that. After reading some about him and after hearing a few things. All right. After hearing, that Kittle wanted him written in his contract that he couldn't leave, that McDaniel couldn't leave, and And just hearing from other guys, Pierre Garçon said some really nice things. And the fullback, I cannot remember his name for whatever reason, from the 49ers, he said some really nice things as well. And Sulla, whatever his name, Robert Sulla, something, for the head coach for the Jets, saying that he didn't want him in, or would rather him not had been in the division. McVay saying that he's glad he's leaving the division. Things like that, all right? I'm like, okay, he has a lot of respect here, all right? It's a guy that, knows what he's talking about, been in the league 15 plus years and has done his time. Okay? And Kellen Moore, I wasn't too excited about because I felt like maybe he was a product of Dak Prescott just playing well, because Dak Prescott was playing well before Kellen Moore came in the picture. So I just wasn't too excited about that, but I was a little bit excited about Vance Joseph, knowing what type of guy he was. He was already on the squad, knowing he had a head coaching job before and didn't do so well at it, so that he was going to have a second chance at that. I thought that was going to go in the right decision. Obviously, they wanted to go offensive, so they nipped that in the bud right away, and it just became those two guys going head-to-head for it once Dable was hired as the Giants head coach. And I just, felt more comfortable at that point with McDaniel over Moore completely. Like I said, all right, if we're going to go in this direction, this is the direction they want to go in. They want to get a young, flashy guy. They don't want to go with the grizzled veteran, guy that's done it before. You got to go with McDaniel, all right? Fast forward, we hired McDaniel, and I'm like, great, let's get to work, all right? That's just the way it was, and I'm going to keep it funky. It still didn't move the needle for me enough because I'm like, look, we've had so many coaches over the last umpteen years. It's been the same old. The guy comes in, he says he's gonna change the franchise. He's gonna do this and that. And next 3 years, we believe him, we don't believe him, we turn our backs on him, he turns his back on us, and then we're looking for another head coach, and then we go through the cycle again. All right, that's all it's been for I don't know how many years, for the last 20 plus years for sure, since Wannstedt became the head coach. It's been like that. It's been like that for a very long time. So we've been dealing with this for a very, very long time now. All right, so I'm just thinking like, hey, we just need to get to work. We need to see what he's going to do, what he plans on doing coaches, what he plans on doing for Tua, what he plans on doing for the defense, and then see how he talks, how he carries himself, things like that. Then now we hire him. It's official. Pictures come out. Then now the Dolphins get to work on social media. Now, like I said, I'm talking about every facet of this, okay? I'm talking about every facet of this. So we're going to talk about the social media, all right? Because all of the teams pretty much that had hired a guy did something on social media. They did drive-ups. They did walk-ins. They did different things. Dolphins, all right, knocked it out the park. Jacksonville was the first team that I saw have the jet, pick the guy up or drop the guy off and then, had him coming down, off the jet. And that was Doug Peterson, all right? He was coming down off the jet and things like that. And then, everybody thought that was, hey, they raised the bar a little bit. Then the Dolphins was like, hold my beer, all right? Dolphins said, we're going to do you one better, all right? We're going to pick him up. We're going to show you that we picked him up from California. We're going to put a camera on the plane, and we're going to do a flyover of the plane when he's landing in Miami. We're going to have him coming off the plane, and we're going to show you him walking into our building to sign his contract. Round of applause for whoever runs the social media department in Miami. I wish our organization and our team was as first class as y'all. All right? If we could follow y'all direction and be as great at our jobs, all right? And I mean everybody else, head coach, players, all them down. Owner too. If they can all get on your level, we can win some doggone Super Bowls because that was tremendous. All right. It was on point to see that we were ahead of the game. All right. We did a whole bunch of things that other teams are now going to try and copy because we just knocked it straight out the park. We got that off-season W right there. We got the Super Bowl of social media coach hiring, all right? I got to get excited about something, doggone it. That's the one I'm going to have to get excited about. So what did we actually see in this video or in these few videos, all right? We saw a guy that was amped and pumped, and you could just tell he has an intensity about him, all right? That started to get my attention, all right? That started to get my attention. Video with Tua. All right, the way he was talking to Tua. Yes, there's some fluff involved in that. I understand. Not that he wasn't truthful in what he said. He was very truthful in what he said. He meant every word he said to Tua. But, you know, what was he going to say? You know, he's on the plane. He's on his way to sign a contract for the bag and to be the head man of the organization. What is he going to tell Tua on the phone right there? Oh, man, you know, you got to work on this and that. And, man, you've got big problems. I think we're going to bring a guy in to battle you out. No, that's not the time for that. You know, that's not the time for that. So, of course, he's going to give him all the positives. Man, I'm pumped. I'm amped. You know, I hope you're ready. And I'm going to push you. And you're going to push me. And we're going to. Oh, that's the time for that. All right, so that's what he did. All right, and I'm pretty sure private conversations, hey, I went over your tape. There's some things you need to work on. Probably gave him a full list like, hey, work on this. And then when you come back in for off-season training and I need to see some improvement or we'll, you know, work on whatever. I'm pretty sure that was at some point part of the conversation. We just didn't get to see that, and that wasn't on that plane. All right, that conversation didn't happen on that plane. I'm pretty sure. All right, that's not one of the things that was going to happen at that time, and it definitely wasn't going to happen on camera. All right, so that conversation got me hyped. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh man, I'm really starting to like this guy. Okay, I'm really starting to like this guy now. Then he does the press conference. We get all the way to the press conference. And the man got my heart, all right? First, he had my curiosity, all right, when all Kittle and all these guys. Then that video with Tua had my attention, all right, had my attention. That press conference had my heart, all right? I'm ready to run through a brick wall for this dude at this point. Like, sign me up, coach. Give me a helmet and some football cleats. Let's go at it. Because the man was just spitting straight fire at the press conference. Straight fire. Now, I'm not going to go over everything. Y'all been through this with umpteen Dolphin YouTubers, and we got the best Dolphin YouTube or best sports YouTubers covering teams, fans in the world. All right? In the world. And I said in the world. I said it. Dolphins YouTubers, we're the best. We're number one. All right? We got that on lock. Anyway, y'all seen all that. All right? Everybody done did breakdowns. TD, Doug, everybody, bro. Everybody did it. So I'm not going to go through all that. But what I am going to do is cover a couple key points. All right? Some things that I really loved that he said. Let's start with number one, because I want to get this out the way. Number one thing that I love that he said, and if you see me sniffling, I'm sorry, guys. I have allergies and things like that. If you're new to the channel, I might be sniffling. Sorry. Yeah. The first thing that I want to talk about is him being biracial. Now, there was an article that had come out before we got him as our head coach, and the article mentioned that he identified as biracial. So, get to the press conference, they asked him a question, and he goes off on a tangent. It's like, well, I don't identify as anything. I identify as a human being, because that's what I am. And my dad happens to be black. So I'm, biracial as a result. And there was some backfire with that. Some people kind of took it and thought it meant something that it didn't mean and everything like that. But I want to say this. I wanted to get that out the way to say this. We got to stop. All right? Why does the man identify as biracial? Either you're biracial or you're not. Okay? You don't identify as biracial. What does that mean? Is the man's dad, mom, grandma, grandpa, family members black or not? Identify as biracial? So what are you saying, that he just woke up and felt like he was biracial today? No, the man's dad's black. As a result, he is biracial because his mom is white. He's biracial. He doesn't have to identify as biracial because he already is biracial. Okay? I don't have to identify as black. All right? I am black. All right? So we got to stop with that. All right? That's confusing people. People took that and ran with it because they were identified as. I mean, the man clearly looks like he's fair skinned. So he's white. What do you mean identified as? And I can see why some people got agitated because they're identified as, what does that really mean? Either he's black or he's not. Or either he has black in him or he doesn't. Okay, so I'm glad he cleared that up. All right, and the way he addressed that, I loved it. Because that's exactly how I would have addressed it as well. And I wouldn't have, been light on that. I would have just, I would have hit it on the mark. I don't identify as that. I identify as a human being because that's what I am first and foremost. My color doesn't mean anything in the end scheme of things. All right. That's a side note. I'm a human being. That's what I identify as. Loved it. Moving on. When it came, and this is my favorite thing that he said in that 40-some minutes that he talked. Now, I love his personality. He's got a little bit of a sarcasm to him. But it's not a disrespectful sarcasm. It's a nerdy sarcasm. But it has it's like a nerdy, cool sarcasm. He just says things and it's a little funny and it has you is he serious? But he's not serious. It makes you think okay, this guy, he's just one of those guys that he just says stuff. He says stuff and everything he says means something, but it's meant to be funny. He's one of those type of guys. I liked it. He was very nervous, especially at the beginning. He was very nervous, but definitely liked his personality. And you could tell him and Flores, they're on two different ends as far as personality is concerned. Flores is a great coach, but personality-wise, they're on two different spectrums. It's not even close, and he's very relatable to the players, which brings me to the point of what he said in the video. In his press conference, when they asked him about how he would coach the players and relatability and things like that. I can't remember exactly how the question was worded, but when he brought up the fact that, you're going to use video and things like that to, keep the players' attention, and then talking about ADD and things like that. One of the main things that he said that really stuck out to me was, some people have to realize that we don't want to be wasting these players' valuable time. And I'm like, what? Players' valuable time. They're in your building, figuratively, sitting in your classroom, learning from you. They should give you their undivided attention. And you're instead saying that you need to make sure you keep their undivided attention and that you're doing everything you can to do so because their time is important and should not be wasted. I've never heard a coach say that in my entire life. That opened my mind. That's okay. He thinks different, and I like that because he wants to make sure that his players know that he values their time and won't waste their time, and that he's going to make sure that they get what they need to get the most effective way possible while also keeping their attention, all right, because he understands and gets it that nowadays you've got to do the extra, all right, you've got to go the extra mile to keep these guys' attention, to make the information more relatable, to make it interactive so that they get it, they understand what they're supposed to do, that way they can buy in to what you're doing, that way they can succeed on the football field. I love that completely. It goes away from saying, hey, you just need to do it this way because that's the way we've been doing it with everybody else. Do it this way. Point blank period. If you can't, we'll just go find somebody. No, he's saying, I'm going to make sure I reach you. All right. If you can't get it this way, I'm going to do it this way. If you can't get it that way, I'll do it this way. I'm going to make sure I reach you because I want you to be the best player you can be on the football team. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody turns out the same because, like, for example, Isaiah Wilson. You put Isaiah Wilson on a football team right now or a few months back, no matter what you did, he's just not going to pan out because he doesn't want it. All right, and he did mention that. I mean, the player has to want it. All right, that's part of it. If the player doesn't want it, there's nothing you can make him want. The player has to want it as well. All right, but if the player does want it, but he just can't learn it the way you're teaching it to him, you got to be able to adjust. He's willing to do that. Loved that he mentioned that completely. All right. One thing I will say that caught me off guard was him saying that he had 0 red flags. Now, I don't know if he was capping. All right. I have no idea. For those that don't know what capping means that if he was telling a half truth, whole lie, or half truth, half lie, or white lie, whatever you want to call it. All right. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't know if he was capping. But if he wasn't, what? Like, huh? What do you mean? You didn't have a problem with the fact that, he was willing to pay his coach to lose games? That's fixing games, bro. Like, and he basically kind of said that without saying it because he was like, Ross was doing whatever it took to win, and he's a winner, and he's trying to win. And it's like, bro, not everything you do to win is legal, bro. Like, anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to put words in the man's mouth. I can't do that. So I don't know exactly, but he said there was no red flags. And to me, there was clearly at least one. All right, clearly. Now, I don't believe any racism took part in anything that happened to Flores in Miami. But the man was clearly asked to lose games, and he was being offered to be paid for it based on what he said. All right, now, doesn't necessarily mean it was true, but I'm just going based off what he said. He said that, and he said he has proof. If it comes out that it's true, all right, that's a red flag. All right, that's a red flag. All right, even if the allegations are just the allegations, off the allegations alone, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. All right, anyway, moving on. And I hope y'all caught that. I'm not saying that Ross actually did it, but hey, allegations are there. They're going to look into it. It's a possibility. A strong one. All right, because he definitely wanted to lose. Whether he wanted to pay him to do it, that's a whole different topic. But he wanted to lose. All right, we know that part's true. All right, so now let's get on. We have our coach, okay? How do I feel about the coach as of right now? Like I said, he has my heart. I am behind him 100%, but I am still cautiously optimistic, okay? I am optimistic, but I am cautiously optimistic. I need to see how he puts this team together, the team of coaches together, and I need to see specifically who the O-line coach is going to be, because it can't be who it was last year, and who the offensive coordinator is going to be, okay? Those are the two things I'm mainly looking for. We already know he's keeping the DC. We know he's keeping the defensive line coach. Wes Welker's coming in. Love that. He can help Waddle a lot. He helped Deebo Samuel a lot. He could definitely help Waddle in and out of his breaks. The man's a beast when it comes to that. He'll probably end up being offensive coordinator somewhere very soon, too. I would love to see I think we might have tight end coach too, but I can't remember his name. Quarterback coach, love to know who that would be. Offensive coordinator and O-line coach, very interested in knowing who that would be. Josh Boyer, we know he's staying. Defensive line coach is staying, so pretty much we can expect some semblance of the same defense. It might get tweaked slightly. McDaniel, I'm pretty sure, is not going to keep it the exact same, because if you do that, then everybody will have our number. So he's got to change something in the defense so that it keeps the offense guessing for future years. All right, so it's not going to stay exactly the same. And if it does stay exactly the same, they better keep exactly the same players. You can't let a guy like X go if you're going to keep that defense the exact same, because you're going to get roasted. So you're going to have to pay that man. Pay the man his money. Get a man his money. Pay the man. All right, pay him. Let's go on to talk about Tua real quick. All right, before I end this video out. A lot of people have a little bit of an issue that this coach has come in and fully endorsed Tua as of what we know. All right, and now he said he watched a heck of a lot of tape on Miami. So some people will probably say, well, if he watched the tape, then he should have seen that Tua's not adequate enough to lead our football team. Here's where you guys have to understand and just take a step back. Any coach that's coming in, and I heard Doug say this, and it's true, and I heard TD say this, and it's true. Any coach that's coming in feels like they can coach the best out of all the players that are on the football team. All right? If there was a player that didn't play up to par, and you're a coach and you're coming in, part of the job is to coach the players up. You feel like, that was with your last coach. You failed in your mind or in everybody else's mind under your last coach. I'm not going to let you fail. All right? And if you fail with me, then it's because you just ain't good enough. And that's what it'll end up being. If that happens, Tua's going to get his chance with this coach because the coach feels like, hey, I can make him better. Now, if he can't make him better, he's out of there. You got to give Tua that one more year. Tua deserves that one more year because a new coach has come in. If he can't prove it, he's out of there. All right, there's not as much tie between the coach and the quarterback in this situation as you would think. All right, McVay got away with doing that. This guy, Shanahan, is about to get away with doing that because they have a Lance in there and they're letting Garoppolo go. Plenty of coaches that have had quarterbacks in on their first year that they didn't bring in aren't tied to those guys. If those guys do not perform, they get to go and get their own guy, and then they're tied to that guy. Tua has a few months to prove himself. All right? That means training camp, OTAs, minicamp, all that. If he can't win the starting job or if he can't prove that he's the guy, he ain't. Yes, he got hired because he believes that he can make Tua better. But he ain't tied to Tua. Okay? He's not. He's going to do his best. If Tua's still not up to par, Tua's out of there. We got 2 picks next year. As long as we don't trade for nobody and get one of the picks out, we. All right, guys, I'm back. Yep. My camera cut out while I was talking. So we're just going to continue where we left off at because this one I'm going to have to edit. It's too long a video to try and replicate. Said too many good things to try to go back and do the whole video over. That's not about to happen to me. All right, so we'll just go ahead and continue on with what we were talking about. With Tua, all right, he's not going to sit there, or he's not going to be allowed, all right, to go through years of growing pains. All right, he's not. That's not about to happen. All right, now he's going to have to show some serious progression, which I believe he will. All right, don't get it twisted. I believe Tua will show progression enough to keep the job. But if he doesn't, they're moving off of him. All right, so don't be too worried about it. Either Tua's going to show that he's that dude or he's not, and they're going to move off of him. All right, if you feel like we shouldn't, I'm sorry. That's just the way it goes when you get a new head coach in. That's just the way it goes. All right, you can't be worried about that. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Yeah, the video was almost over anyway. Fins up till we die. We got a new head coach. We got a new direction. Please let me know how you feel about this head coach in the comment section. Y'all know how I rock with y'all, man. I'm going to be in the comment section. We can go back and forth. If you feel like this is the absolute wrong hire, let me know why as well. Tell me some of the things you dislike about him in his press conference, from his press conference, or that you liked about his press conference as well. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Love y'all. I'm out.